That's very considerate of you, Joe.
No, thank you.
I try when I can. He was being considerate of Julie, but I guess I was.
You get residual.
You
get the residual.
He doesn't own it. He rents it.
Oh.
I call our regular village board meeting to order, and I'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I would like our former mayor to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and welcome him to our meeting.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We start with the approval of the minutes from the regular board meeting on September 18th, 2023. Take a motion to approve those.
One comment, please, Ray.
Sure.
I could be a detail that doesn't matter, but we should have a record of that meeting we had. That just a record of the
Executive
meeting.
session?
Yes, right. I know there's no minutes, but there's a start and a stop.
Right, of the executive session.
Right.
Sure, we can have
Okay, so
that.
you just, okay.
That was, I'm trying to think of it.
I was
Was it the
thinking of the
21st? Is that when it was? Or- No,
No, like 7.
oh, okay. It was at 10 o'clock. I know that one.
Yeah.
It was on a Thursday.
Yeah, we'll get that
It was 10 o'clock on a Thursday.
with that change. Agreeing to that change, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
A second? Second by trustee Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 2 is our monthly reports from the Superintendent of Public Works, Meter Dock Revenues, Planning and Zoning, Rec Center, Director of Events, Sanitation Department, Teen Center, and Fire Department. All of those are made available to the public free of charge. I actually asked Special Events Director Blaze to attend tonight, but I also at the last minute asked Judy Gearwar. I know she would like to just make a brief statement, question, query, and then I can turn her loose to about her devices. So Judy, yes, please.
I'm just here, basically, I'm talking about the lighting, the village light village.
Mhm.
We put a very informal press release together today, which I can review.
Sure.
And also, one of my concerns is who's gonna be in the park, where they're gonna be set up, because it is gonna affect, where we put everything.
Where you put the displays.
Very
Come on
nice
up.
job with the Halloween, by the way.
Yes, great job.
Very nice. Halloween, very nice.
It's just really, I only made. I also made copies of the map of the center of Shepherd's. Just because, we're gonna do something a little bit different this year. We're gonna do, what I've seen done in other botanical gardens, like big gardens. We're gonna create a botanical garden in the winter,
Nice.
along with the regular snowflakes and lit trees. One of my concerns is how we're gonna set it up in the park. We got quite a few things. And I put like, just need some copies of maps, and I would like to use, this is Route 9.
Okay.
I would like to use this area. This is the sloping area, and this is flat.
Okay.
Because I know they're gonna set up some stuff, and then they usually don't use this section.
Usually there's some things on the ground in there.
Right,
In-
that's. what
in
I'm
past
doing
years, yeah.
right Now, basically, but here's some more.
Sure. I can just pass them out. This, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the layout in the park, and can you get one to event director, please? So he could see. We usually have stuff on the ground there anyway, and people tend to stay away from that and those displays. So I don't see it as being a problem. Anyone else on the board? Anyone? I think it'll be fine.
Okay, so you can just do our thing.
Yeah, you can do your thing, and Keith will handle the either blockades or barricades to keep people from trampling around in it.
Okay, we are planning on putting up an informal fence
Okay,
out of lights.
okay, that's even better.
We have had a lot of problems in the past with people trampling. And this is gonna be a lot more delicate, so we're gonna have to. And also, I'm a little concerned about the electrical issue, but Keith actually came with the idea of putting a sub panel onto the electrical panel.
the spider boxes at home that feed off a larger, amperage, coming from the panel, and then they spider off, and they're all UL rated and so on. So you can get more power to different parts of the park, which we wouldn't normally have the capability to do that.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, we've been chasing that problem for years, so.
Yet in the
Yeah,
past.
they're
we have lost-
portable, they're temporary, but I think it might work for good.
Okay. Good. Sounds like you got a handle on that. Thank you, Judy. And I like the press release. It sounds really, really well.
Yes, I think it needs to be tweaked a little bit.
Yeah, no, we can go over that, sure. Thanks. Events Director Blaze. You wanted to present a special event income report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At a workshop meeting that we had here, I don't know when it was.
I think it was the
a couple
7th.
months ago.
Yeah.
A month ago, it was discussed, and rightly so, what monetary value might special events have on the village of Lake George and its effect on the income and the tax rate of the village and so on. So I said that I would try to do a little research and come up with some figures, and I have to present tonight. I'll have to sit down, unfortunately.
We have the copies on our.
Oh, you do?
We don't need.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, well, that makes it a lot easier.
Tony might want to.
Yeah, and Tony can have it. Otherwise he wasn't gonna have one.
Luke. might.
So, you might have some questions about, but what I did was I took, 3 budgets. I took the budget in 1974-75. I took a budget in 1988, and I took a budget, in 1997, and also, last year. And, rather than confuse you with a lot of figures and go all the way back, I just went all the way back to 1974-75, when we had one event in the village of Lake George, and that was the Glens Falls City Band that played on Tuesday nights in Shepherd Park. And we paid the Glens Falls City Band $300 a week at that time. And the board at that time realized that we weren't utilizing Shepherd Park to its fullest ability, and we decided we would expand the program, and the rest from there was history. The first special event that was held in the village of Lake George was the Fireman's Family Festival. It was 1966, and that was started by myself, Gary Grant, and Ed Graff, who are all members of the fire department at that time. And that event, as you all know, is still ongoing, and that is the largest event in Shepherd Park. But as you can see, from that time on, we have not only garnered a lot more funds for the village of Lake George, but all of those accounts that you see there, with the exception of the 2 permits and meters, all of those accounts never even appeared in the village budget at that time. All of those accounts were set up because there were special events in the village of Lake George. So as you can see, permits, which got 3,700 then, are now taking in 15,625. Beach road rentals are the money that people actually pay us to do a special event in the beach road parking lot. Westbrook events are our share of the village's parking meter revenues, because as we all know, you never find any cars parked in Westbrook unless there's a special event. So I took half of that. County wastewater treatment plant funds. When I went to the county and asked them for $75,000 for 10 years, I used as leverage the fact that we were going to build a new wastewater treatment plant, the size that we had to build it, because we had to be able to handle special events in the village. And they were kind enough, of course, to give us the 75,000. I only took 10% of the meters, which I think you'll have to agree is a very conservative figure that brings in here special events. Parking passes from Americade, that's last year's income. The public dock fees are last year's income for the 2 shows that were held at the dock. The facilities use are strictly public events using Shepherd Park. The concession sales are the sales that we got from Fridays at the Lake. Special event fees are specifically fees that are charged by the village for special events. The vendors' fees are the fees that the vendors pay to attend the special events. We would not have a donation from the merchants for fireworks if we didn't do the special events. That's $25,000. The county gives the village $25,000 towards our special events. The town gives the village $17,000 towards our special events. I took only 20% of the sales tax. The occupancy tax, I took only 20% of for special events. And the water charges are the charges that are brought in here now by Ice Castles, who is a customer and the largest water customer that the village has. And obviously that customer wouldn't be there unless it was a special event. So the total is $590,869. And I would guess that I probably missed some of the figures. And against that, of course, is the special event director's wages, the overtime budget for our men that we put in the budget each year, and we rarely use it all to service those events. The cost of the bands that the village provides in Shepherd Park, the cost of our celebration budget, which includes things like the American Legion Memorial Day Parade, light up the village, and then contractual expenses are also the money that we pay out to folks like the Lake George Arts Project to support the village events, Lake George Community Band, things like that. So if you want to call that an expense, it's $89,500. So if this figure did not appear in the village budget, the village tax rate would double. Because right now we collect a little over $1.2 million from the village taxpayers. But besides the actual income that the village garners, I think that it's important to realize that special events bring people to the village that otherwise may not come here at all. People that have special interests that may never think about coming up to the village will attend a garlic festival. They'll attend anything that you can put out there. Obviously, Americade is a perfect example of people that came here for the first time riding a motorcycle, and 4 weeks later you see them with their family and their 3 kids walking on the street. They don't look the same, they don't act the same, but they're back because they came here originally for Americade, or they came here for the car show, or they came here for a circus, or they came here for the balloon festival. And they loved Lake George so much they came back. And the other great byproduct of it is that these festivals that are here right now, as near as I could ascertain, are providing over $100,000 in money to not-profit organizations. Many of you may know that the wine festival that Sasha Party does provides a substantial amount of money to the Adirondack culinary program. Big Brothers Big Sisters, we benefit from most of John Carr's benefits. We do Rockin' with Ronald Festival, which this year did $29,000. Kelly's Angels did $24,000. And all of these festivals have a component where they use volunteers from various organizations. One of the festivals that is probably the greatest problem with us, the Adirondack National Car Shows. They built the living room at Grant's Cottage with $25,000, which they donated towards that. And so there's all these other little ancillary things that happens because we have these festivals that perhaps a lot of the people don't know about. But in any event, they provide a tremendous opportunity for people to come to Lake George and enjoy something extra that they might be particularly interested in. The Antique and Classic Boat Show is a perfect example, a great event for Lake George Village. And they have a cocktail party. They have a banquet, the tow truck show, which you don't see a lot of people going to as you do the others. They are the largest customer that the Fort William Henry has as far as a convention facility, because they have 2 on-site banquets. They have breakfasts there. They do everything there. So it's extremely important to make sure that we, continue to do special events, and that carries on, obviously, down the road. That's why we built Wood Park, and next year Wood Park will host 17 events, 5 brand new events, all different, all low impact events, but all events that will draw some additional people, hopefully, to Lake George.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Go for it. I thought you might.
You knew I would. So, I think I really appreciate you doing this. I think it's very helpful to see this and have a physical document. I did have, a resident ask me, and I think they were good questions, like, does the village monitor how many tourists attend each event? And does the village monitor how much money each event brings in? So I think it's nice to see a general overview. I'm wondering though, if it would be more beneficial for us to start going forward, measuring each individual event each weekend, so that we can kind of figure out, are there events that are really doing us good, and are there events that maybe we don't need? And then I'm also thinking, just like kind of looking at this and hearing what you're saying, the purpose is that we're bringing in more tourists to boost our economy. We've been talking about surveys, maybe with this thought of potentially doing something like a survey that we can get tourist input and saying, why are you here? How many nights are you here? Have you attended some of our events? Like, so that we can get a better idea of what type of events we're trying to have in the village.
I think we could partner with some of the larger hotels and motels in the village and on the outskirts.
Yeah.
They do a thing called the Smith Report, that they see a lot of these figures, and you could really correlate between what weekend and how they did for rooms for heads and beds. We could easily pull something like that off, and Gina from the chamber, I'm sure, could help us.
Yeah, because that's what the specific person was like, what are the occupancy numbers for the hotels and motels of those nights? Which are great questions, and I don't like getting those numbers. I don't know if we can ask like bars and restaurants, like, hey, this event was going on, did you notice like your income of that day was better? And that way we can just say like, yes. Because I see like you put in sales tax 20%, occupancy tax 20%. How do we know it's a full 20% without pulling the numbers from the hotel?
He was actually just being very conservative.
For sure, and that's what I agree. It's just
the larger events like the Americade and the Adirondack Wine Festival, and particularly they do a really good job when they come for occupancy tax. She can tell you where every single person came from and where they stayed.
That's nice.
That attends her festival. She does. I know John, Trustee Root will know from sitting in the occupancy tax meetings. Some people will come in and they'll have that data down cold.
Yeah.
Most of the other little ones are though, no, they don't know. Like for instance, it would be very difficult for me to do that in Shepherd Park because I don't charge admission. But all we can do is talk to people there. And we were here last year and we loved it, and we came back, and I mean, I can ask them where they stay, but when you charge admission, like the places do at Wood Park, they actually have some people that sit there and they have them log where they're staying. They take their zip code. The guy from the Dome does a fabulous job with doing that, but so does the car show, Americade, the wine festival, the tow truck show. They can tell you where every single person comes from and where every single person stayed. And that kind of data, you'll see every once in a while, the chamber will say, Americade generates $7.5 million worth of income. You wonder where they get that figure,
Right.
but they do have a formula for doing that.
Do you have that data, or is that something we'll have to reach out to each special event, ask them?
When they come for occupancy tax, some of their applications, like, again, Sasha's, because she does a really good job of it. Yes, it's in there, it's on their application,
Mhm.
and you can read it, and you can see where the people came from, and where they stayed, where the band stayed.
Yeah.
You know, I, as a perfect example, some of you may know, I took a job at the Holiday Inn, and I was a concierge for a little while, and I learned things I never knew before. Dave Eman had his Labor Day festival,
Adirondack.
the Adirondack
Arts
Music
Festival,
Fest,
yeah.
and it was, the folks that come here with the tie-dye t-shirts and the,
Patchouli.
Hippies.
Patchouli.
whatever it is. I always heard when I was mayor, you know, a lot of these people sleep in the woods, they sleep with the campsites. They had 47 rooms rented for the whole weekend at the Holiday Inn, as I checked most of them in. And they were all here for Dave Eman's music festival. His entire Super 8 motel was rented by all the bands. So it's those types of things you wonder the impact, and I didn't think that most of those people, obviously the Holiday Inn is one of our higher end facilities, and they had 40 some odd rooms there for the whole weekend. I wondered how many were in some of the little mom and pop hotels that really needed them. So each event has its own different flavor, and it would be a good idea, as you said, to try to get a handle on it. You'd have to almost appoint somebody full-time to cover all these and get the proper data, because I know some of the event people, they don't have the staffing to do it or whatever.
And some of the events don't want to, specifically Americade. I've talked to Christian Dutcher at length about it, and he said we don't like to say how we did this year or last year, because what ends up happening, and I might have lost the translation on it, but he said it becomes almost like someone will lie about something about their event, and it will become Pinocchio's nose, where the lie just perpetuates itself, and then people would expect a certain amount out of an event, whether it was true or not. So he says we keep a tight lip on it, but.
I wonder if we can maybe talk about that. It's not an expectation of like, oh, you need to perform the same every year, but just saying as like a village, we want to make sure that we're promoting and having things that help promote our economy. So that's all we're not like gonna hold you to a standard of certain types, but it's like we don't want something that's going to potentially cost us more to hold in the village. I don't think
Go ahead, Zach.
Americade's in that.
No,
It's I like Ray's idea as far as the idea of surveying. You know, I'm in the hospitality side of it. But I see real quick the trickle down comes in at the very top of the pyramid, gas stations. You need gas to come and go. So I always talk to the gas stations and ask them how they did over the weekend. And you can see how they do. You can't get in. Next level is a hotel, you need a place to sleep. Restaurant, bars, and the very bottom, you have the retail side, you have the extra money, you buy something now. When I see retail booming, I know everyone's doing well, because that's all the extra cash going there. But that's something, if we get like a survey monkey
Yeah.
out there, and we could get our businesses on, we could literally in real time, we could chart it now. Because I remember there was a couple of events when retail wasn't doing great, but everyone else did well. The retail seems to be at the very
They're
bottom.
the last
with
people to make money.
expenditure, Yeah,
Yeah.
but the gas station, hotel, restaurant, then retail is what I saw.
Yeah, so is there a way that we could kind of make a decision on how to maybe set this up So we can say like, let's get together, figure out a way to track and have measures and.
I think you could do a lot with the chamber. The chamber can answer a majority of your questions. Yeah, Gina.
But we as a village should have like data and history on it, so
Well,
that,
we have to start somewhere. So
Right,
we're
yeah.
gonna start with Gina.
okay,
And I'm not gonna take up everyone's time anymore on this issue, but it was
So
asked for
email
him to
Gina.
explain. You can set something up with Gina. She can tell you a lot of the information that is out there already. You just have to ask her for it.
okay,
And I think that
okay,
you guys could spearhead this if you,
Yeah.
the two of you would like
I'll do
to.
it, Allison.
Sure.
I'll do it.
Okay. Great.
Okay, so on the other side of the equation, and besides the numbers are all very impressive, no question about it. But there's also the personal side, quality of life side, the image of the village side. And most of these are all good for the image of the village, and they all are quality of life issues. But I definitely have an issue with one event in particular, and that's car show weekend. What goes on at the Fort William Henry is wonderful. I actually spent the $15 to go in it this year. But what goes on Canada Street is not something that I was ashamed, actually, to be walking around on Canada Street, embarrassed. And I'm also embarrassed to admit that I didn't realize that Waterfront Living is gone. That was one of our best gift shops, if not the best gift shop. And also the gift shop that Sadie and Bruce Kilburn had. Now they sell popcorn. And now the woodwork shop, that's going out. So we've lost two, in the process of losing another gift shop. But we have 3 dilly gaps and 3 arcades. So we are doing well, but as you said, retail is the last people that make, so the village is making some revenue, but maybe not everybody is. And there's also a cost, I see there's expensive, but there's also a cost of wear and tear in our infrastructure. I walk a lot in the village and I see sidewalks are cracked, the pavers are broken. You know, I always are begging for new garbage cans, you know, things like that. So I think we could make a nicer place to visit and would also be a nicer place to live. And also I think that we've gone a little too far with the vendors in the village. It turned into like vendor, like we are, instead of the village of Lake George, we're the vendors of Lake George. You know, what goes on at Wood Park, that's a different story. It could be like a vendor city down there, but if you have people walking back and forth from Wood Park to the village, get that traffic flowing, I think that would be good for everyone. Did I project?
no,
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Joe, you got anything?
I just have 2 more items that
Sure.
are timely. One is just information only. I wanted to expand the Light Up the Village this year. We've been doing one day for about 11 years, and anybody that's been there, you know, we're drawing probably the largest crowds of the year. And I was able to meet with the people from Ice Castles USA, and been able to get them into Wood Park last week to start construction of their new facilities. And also asked them to join us in the Light Up Village celebration. So their plans are, if you haven't read about it already, are to hold their grand opening the Friday night prior to what usually would be our Saturday. And I also asked them to do it for local people at a special price, and they've agreed to all that. So the first weekend will be put aside for locals at a special discount, which the county wanted very much last year, weren't able to do it. But also their grand opening on Friday will serve as a way to get folks here on Friday and hopefully stay over the entire weekend for Light Up the Village, because we know that on Saturdays, many of our hotels are full. So I'd like to expand Light Up the Village to Friday and not just Saturday. I'm still under budget that the village has given me, and also have more activities during the daytime that people can come up to, encourage them to come up and shop. Now, of course, the next challenge will be to get the people to open up their stores, but we'll try to do the best we can with that. So instead of starting light up the village at 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon, we'll start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with carriage rides, maybe pony rides, bounce houses for the children, things for people to do while they're shopping, and then go into the music segment and the ugly sweater contest in the evening. So if that sounds like a good idea, that's the program that I'm working on. And again, I'm still within budget. But I do want the village board to know that Ice Cap's goal will be to open up, even if they're not completely ready with all of their facilities, they will open up their skating rink and other activities on Friday evening, and they're going to play that up for locals and give them a special discount. So I think that'll be a good boost to a holiday weekend in Lake George Village and the town of Lake George as well.
Do you want to retry the fire pits again like we did, Keith? Maybe you could weigh in on that.
I'd have to see Judy's layout a little bit first.
Okay.
With the features she's gonna have in the Shepherd's Park.
Yeah.
And then maybe try to strategically put them where they're gonna be safer and still functional for
Mhm.
the event.
Yeah, we did that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It was nice for people to have a place to warm their hands, and
Right.
depending on the weather, you know.
Yeah, so we could look at, the layout that she has.
What I think would be kind of neat is like burning barrels and maybe get a couple acapellas. Burning barrels. Well, no, get one out there.
singing
Get
down
Frank
there.
Stallone, but I'm just saying it'd be kind of neat. That's back in the old,
Like that.
Okay,
And the second
second.
thing is, and the reason this is timely is that we have to start planning it right now. I already had one meeting and I had to hold off because, I realized that I need the, permission of the village board. I want to come back with, Lake George Community Days. I know many of you don't remember when we did them, after Labor Day. That's not possible now because, everybody's busy after Labor Day, where we used to close all the stores on Labor Day night, and most of them never opened again. And it was extremely popular. It was a local event geared for locals. And what I'd like to do is bring that back in the form of a block party next May. And what I'd like to do is I have to block off a block of street. If you can picture this in your mind where the churches are, because the churches are going to be the main focus of this block party. But every organization in the community, the town and village of Lake George, is going to be invited to attend and take part. The American Legion, I've already talked to, the fire company, the Rotary Club, the Women in Need, they're all going to have some activity at this block party. And it'll be a way for them to make money, make some funds if they wish, or just raise awareness that there is such a group in town and sit there and hand out pamphlets. I want to make it strictly a community event. I've got all sorts of activities planned. We'll have fire truck rides. I'd like the DPW's town and village to bring down their biggest piece of equipment, picture taking opportunities for the young children in a backhoe, things like that. And that particular corner is the only one we can do it, because if you can picture it again, you got Iroquois Lane on one side and you've got Hendrick Street on the other. So we're not taking away anyone's access to their properties at all. We've got the parking lot, James Street parking lot, which I'll need to set up a huge children's playground and so on. And all the churches will come out in front of their place. They'll all have dinners, barbecues. We'll have sack races, cornhole contest, pie eating contest, a dunking booth, a dress up dog contest. I've talked to the high school, the elementary school, with the community band. The music will be the high school band, the choir, the elementary choir, the jazz band. They'll be providing the music, the Lake George Community Band. And then we'll have
live auctions. One of the churches will do a rummage sale, one of the churches will do a chicken barbecue, one of the churches will do a bake sale. Another church will do this. It's up to them. I've left it open. Try to be creative with this. No admissions or anything. People just come down, walk from their homes, come in, park in the village. It'll be in May. So we're not playing to the tourists. We're playing for the local people to come down into the village and share with each other's. DPW, all we're gonna ask them for is rubbish cans and wholesome picnic tables that we can put on the street so people, when they listen to the music, have something to eat or bake sale or whatever they're gonna have. No for-profit organizations involved in the activities at all. But I need to block the street off early Saturday morning and open it up Sunday evening around 6 o'clock. Probably the second or third weekend in May. The latest would be the weekend before Memorial Day, obviously, trying to catch better weather. And I can tell you that everyone is really enthusiastic about it. I can't think of any other place to have it and make it as effective and get the churches. We need the churches because we need the restrooms, we need their cooking facilities. We need everything they have inside that church to be able to bring it outside. And I think that it will rejuvenate a lot of community spirit. And I'd like to start it next spring. But I need permission, obviously, from the village board to that concept to block off the street. We just blocked off the street in the middle of September, October, November, whatever it is now, for a big Oktoberfest. We ought to be able to block off a block for our own people to come and enjoy themselves. That's my spiel.
I like it.
A lovely idea.
I like
I like
it.
it.
I mean,
All
we
American.
talked about it earlier. Bob and I had about what the actual, what it would look like. I mean, you go
Yeah.
starting at James Street on Ottawa. Because then you could go up to James.
I didn't figure all those James Street.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't think about
Iroquois,
those little
Hendricks.
streets,
So
No,
there's ways around
Yeah,
and we
there's
can
ways
make it
What
work.
I'm gonna do is to put your detour sign on the end of the street, say local, so they won't turn to get in there and have to use those small. In other words, nobody's gonna turn off Canada Street if they see, detour the other way. But if they do, you still got Iroquois, you still got Hendrick Street to do that. And each one of these events that I mentioned, the American Legion will take on the sack races, the Women in Need may take on the pie eating contest. I don't know what they're gonna do. But things like that will generate some traffic. And then you got that block where the fire company is. And my idea there is the fire company will give rides like they used to. We'll give rides on the fire trucks to the building. And the firemen are gonna be right there if there's a fire. They'll be right there to take their truck and go to the fire, so.
Without the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the kids, I'm not sure, yeah. But I need permission now, because obviously it's gonna take most of the winter to plan this. And have some meetings, as we always do. The concept of blocking off the street, I know, is something that the village board has to consider.
Well, it's definitely not as restrictive as Canada Street, all that Route 9 traffic. So.
And we don't
what about
even
the
need
Catholic
to.
Church. They,
Catholic Church, my idea, they're in the meetings, they're very enthusiastic about it. We'll start off on Friday night, so we don't block on with something going on at the Catholic Church. And then they'll move down in front of our church on the lawn, and they'll be participating down there with everybody else. So every church is involved in it.
Community dinner like we do on Wednesday nights. One Wednesday a month, we do a community dinner.
And just a little, like, those little tiny stage we have that comes in pieces. That's all we need to set up on that intersection. And whatever little groups, singles, no big bands, plays, maybe Richie Ortiz even. He can get up there and so we make a little music. The big, and we'll have to talk to Keith about this, the big challenge will be power. Will be lighting and power. I haven't come up with that solution yet, but I think over the next few weeks, I might be able to think about how we're gonna get power out there. Obviously, we can run it, a lot of it out from the churches, and that's another reason for using those buildings. And then on your other corner, of course, you got the Verizon or company, and they won't care. We'll be there and out of there before they even know we're using their lawn.
Well, if it becomes a success, I think that's just another hurdle. I mean, we could put a service entrance in.
Well, we have one already that's got a pretty good amount of power in it, at James Street parking lot, which.
Oh, that's right.
Facilitates the electronic
Metering.
The-
those stations, yep.
Yeah, charging station.
Charging stations, we have those,
Mhm.
spot there.
So, yeah. There we go.
I'd like to use that for a children's area,
Mhm.
because it's out of the way off the street, and set up most of the children's activities there. So they know exactly where to go, you know, and we might have some of the not-for-profit organizations there. But most of them, I would line the sidewalks with them. As many as we can get to take part, and just have a really good old-fashioned community.
All right, well, I'll take a motion for a conceptual approval of blocking the street for a local family fun weekend in May. So moved by trustee Joe. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Jose. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Permission granted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Mike.
coming
Good
in
idea.
and helping us with this. All right, you gonna be all right?
You got a fan?
Someday.
You got a fan?
Okay.
No, I said you could stand. But you have to.
That's what I told him before.
I brought the 6-inch PVC for.
Yeah. Okay, so item 4, we may be taking these one at a time. And I know we tabled a couple last month, but I want to make these all, any future events going to be contingent upon, or reflective of our new fee schedule, should we get to it in time for the event. So we changed the fee schedule.
Okay.
They're gonna be tied to that, so
Okay.
I wanna get these on the book because they're growing and we can't keep putting them off, so.
What
So,
is the new fee schedule? Do you-
yeah, we don't have it yet, we
Okay.
have to have a workshop on that,
Okay,
that's kind of what I wanna have,
We're gonna
it's
approve
looming
dates.
over, what's that?
We're basically gonna approve the dates.
We're gonna approve the
Time.
dates, but it's gonna be, they're gonna pay the new fee schedule when, and they've all agreed so far, so. And I can't see us raising things too awful much, to be honest, I mean, there's just, hasn't been looked at, and we've done them onesie twosies over the years, and, you know, we should get together as a board and, collectively look at each fee, you know, do we want to charge X to rent the entire park, or are we charging enough for meter blockage or street closures? I think we just need to look at it. It's nothing that's pressing, but I think it's something that we should take a look at and consider changing, but any of
Is
the
this
future-
part of a workshop involving events in general, or just the fees?
this would be fee schedules and,
Because we didn't, I don't know, if we didn't really cover much in that shop session. I mean, I don't know what came out of that much. I don't,
I think that.
I got plenty out of it.
Bob, what I like is what Bob presented on.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
what I was really wanting was, and I think Jose and I are gonna start looking at it a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you were concerned about the numbers, so we're not gonna talk about trying to mitigate some of the misbehavior during the cruise, or are we just gonna continue forward with that?
well, the cruise, there's really, the sheriffs have that locked down. As that's why the path is the way it is. I didn't respond to the email because there was too many things I wanted to say and I wasn't gonna type on my phone at the time, and then I moved on to
Yeah.
something else. But as far as eliminating the PP, nobody's gonna pump in $150 into the meters that week or those 4 days that they're there. That's a revenue generator for us. It's $15,000 a year. I'm not turning that revenue away. As far as volunteers writing parking tickets, no, you have to swear them in. That's not something that can be done. I don't want to go through that whole email right now, and we can go through that on and in that workshop.
Okay, that's what I'm
potentially.
asking, okay.
But, yeah, car show's gonna happen whether we want it or not. We tried to cancel it during COVID and you saw that was the worst year ever.
Well, I don't think we should call it the car show, because what happens, like I said, what happens at the Holiday Inn, that's the car show. What happens on Canada Street
Poorly met.
is the cruise. It's two different things.
Yeah.
In two different, and like I said, I was down there all 3 nights and it's not a pretty sight. I don't,
Had you not been to it before?
well, I've learned to stay away, like everybody else, bugs out on car show weekend. So I actually went down one night, I walked down with Allison. Another night I went down by myself and just watching the drinking and, it just is not a good family atmosphere, let's say.
Yeah, well,
I think it's fair to have a conversation about it. Who
Mhm.
hosts the cruise? Is it the car show?
car
the-
show.
So,
Adirondack
I think
Nationals. Or
if-
Albany Rods and Customs.
I think it would be a good idea to have a meeting with them and potentially the sheriff's department.
We do it every year.
Yeah, so I've never been, so
Yeah.
then thank you for letting me know that. So if we could do it, when do you do that?
We usually do it once in the spring. And then we did it again this year in the summer because some of the businesses had asked for it. But see, the thing is, I'd have to have a regular meeting. I mean, I guess I could. It just would have to be at another location because we would have a quorum.
Well, they opened their registration on February 1st. And so anything would have to be done prior to that, obviously. And when I was at the car show, when I was at the Fort William Henry, I talked to some people up there, and there are, I don't know how many, but there are a percentage of people that register for the car show, but never show up at Fort William Henry. They just want to go in the cruise. So they pay $80 to Albany Rods and Customs just to drive on Canada Street. And my question is, why is the car show, why is Albany Rods and Customs getting that money? When the village, we should just take control of the cruise. That was one of my ideas, was to take control of the cruise. And then we can set up the parameters on the type of cars, they have to follow all the,
Do you want to do that?
as a village board member, sure.
You want to do that? Take the parameters and set them? And do you know enough about cars to do that?
I know, I would just say, all, New York State, traffic and vehicle laws should be adhered to. People are driving, there's people sitting on a tailgate of a truck driving down Canada Street. That's not legal.
I think I'll
Jump in,
my
please.
grand interpretation. I think what John's trying to say is, and I agree with you. I don't think any of us are qualified to pick out what's a hot rod or not. I'm not. I can drive them. But the one thing I know, I'll use your example because I saw it too. 10 people in the back of a pickup truck driving up and down the road. That scares the heck out of me because I think about the kids falling off and hitting their heads. That's something. But that right there that's not car show. I call it sideshow. That sideshow stuff. That's something that we should involve Jim with or sheriff with, things of that nature, because like the idea of like deputizing a bunch of, we're putting a normal citizen into a bad scene. If we do it, we really just need to lean heavier on our sheriffs. They did a great job. We had more cars this year than we've ever had. I'll give them that credit. I was over at the fire station with it.
I took that video.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. It's the sideshow to the
It's
car
what
show.
car show
Right.
attracts,
It's a sideshow, yeah.
and to try to police that, we don't have a police force. We're reliant upon the state police and the sheriff's department, namely the sheriff's department. I think they did a pretty good job this year, but there is the people that the show attracts that, God bless you, that are not
Yeah, that's-
our ideal patrons of the village,
Right.
and I get that. Come at me with solutions as to how to make them behave, and instead of telling me we should make them behave, tell me how we're gonna do it. Is
Well,
kind of
we
what
can- I don't
I
wanna-
would like you to do. And I think we're
We
taking
do
a
it at
lot of
the-
time on this.
Yeah, we'll do it at the workshop.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we don't need to get into this now. I mean, we can put our heads together and come up with some ideas. Maybe my ideas don't make any sense. They're not valid, but I just can't sit here or be here on this village board and year after year walk out on Kenner Street months after the car show and see the streets are black and those videos that they put on YouTube are there for eternity. It's burnouts, so that's what brings people in. And there's two different customers. There's two different demographics. There's the people at the Fort William Henry. I went there, it's beautiful. And the people are on Cannon Street, two different groups.
Yeah, I went to the port as well on for the first time in many years, and it's night and day. You're absolutely right. It is two different groups of people, but I also received a picture of a guy sitting in the back of his truck behind the fence, encouraging people from the Fort William Henry grounds with a megaphone to try to get, hey, blue car, burn out. And I called the guy, Mark Eggleston from the Albany Rods and Customs, and said, look, you got to make this guy stop because I'm on my way over now. So he pulled the guy's thing right out of his hand and said, what are you doing? You don't do that here. Or
Well,
you
that's
leave
why they put a chain link fence around that place to separate those two groups.
from the animals. Okay.
Well, like when we said that event, that workshop, why don't we invite someone from the car show
Sure.
and the sheriff's department so that, because like you said, we need a little bit more heads. It's the cause and effect, how to call the side shell.
Yeah, it falls under quality of life issues. It's a qual.
Yeah, and it's not getting better. It's not one of those things that just if you let it go, it's going to get better on its own.
It's not getting worse.
Well, the burnouts, they've done better with parking their
They
cars,
did.
but
They did.
what time of morning was it when you took that video? It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. The streets are lined with people and they're doing burnouts.
Yeah.
And it was just to sit there in defense of one of the establishments that are blamed for the burnouts
Yeah,
way before they were even open and
yeah,
way down before
Yeah.
their business even was. So
Well,
right.
you can't be
It's
blamed
not the
on.
establishment's fault.
No, well, no, but that's what, in the past, it's always been, well, because everyone there is rooting them on. Well, a lot of that stuff was done before they even opened
Right.
and
Mhm.
before their place this year.
Okay.
I was surprised. at how
So-
quick
We
it
beat that to death. Let's move on to special event facility use applications. Lake George Polar Plunge, the beach at Shepherd Park, November 18th. This is a yearly thing, 8 a.m. to 2. I'm gonna take these line item because I know there's one that we're not gonna like. So can I get a motion to approve the Lake George Polar Plunge?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Northeast Instrumental Music Festival, Route 9 lane closure for food trucks. We met about this, we discussed this one at that executive session workshop meeting. Debonair had reached out to I think almost every restaurant that
Yeah, I saw
is
it.
going to be open,
Mhm.
and they all said, if we have warning, we will have enough food for this group.
Yeah.
So I don't see us bringing food trucks in when struggling brick and mortar stores are trying to make a living in the off season
Mhm.
or shoulder seasons. This is
Right.
well into November, so
Mhm.
I'm not in favor of it, but I'll take a motion to approve or deny.
Are we denying the festival or is it just denying?
No,
the
just
food
the
truck?
lane closure for the food
But
trucks.
isn't that-
Festival's coming anyway.
Isn't it against code for food trucks?
It is.
You
It's
need to
also not against our code, but we have the power as a village board to
vary it, give a
to
variance,
allow it.
yeah.
Where they want to close.
They wanted to close the parking lanes in front of the Marriott to park 2 or 3 food trucks there because I think Charlie's Kitchen would be overwhelmed. There's like 80 or 90 kids and their parents. And they wanted to get food trucks and have everybody go. And they even offered, can we put them in the parking lot in the back? And I still have a problem with it because like I said, we have brick and mortar stores. Giuseppe's is right next door and they're open all year long.
Right. Capri said they can handle 80 people.
Yeah, Capri could do it. Vero could have
Part
an
of it,
offering.
I could take 250.
Zay's gonna be open.
200.
So I'll take a motion to approve or deny.
I'll make a motion to deny.
Okay, is there a second?
One second.
All right, seconded by trustee Miller. All those in favor of denial, say aye.
The denial of the food truck.
Denial of the food truck. They're
Yeah.
coming, we have no control over that. Whether they come and play music, because it's not our facility. So all those in favor of denial, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Rock the Dock Music Festival, it's on the Steel Pier every year for the past 4 years. It's been a pretty great event. Take a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second,
I can second that.
second by trustee Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Lake George Triathlon, road closure, lane closure, dock rental. I don't know, and Keith, we've been doing this for a couple of years now with the new route. We can talk about the route a little further along, but I don't know that they've ever been charged for our manpower.
I agree. I don't think it was, what is it, Sunday, I think.
Sunday of Labor Day weekend.
And it just kind of, I know that we blocked off probably 10 to 12 single phase meters going from Mario's down to Mountain Drive.
Mhm.
For additional safety when people are coming down through from the north end of the town. So I don't ever recall any kind of payment associated with that. Obviously it's from 6 a.m. I believe to 11 or possibly 12 noon. So we have those meters that aren't being used and being covered up for that duration.
Yeah.
And again, it's probably 10 or 12 meters.
Plus the manpower. I mean, they go to Donnelly for the barriers and such,
Correct.
but we do have some men that have to work. So I do think we should probably at least charge them for the lane closure to cover.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever have. And Deb and I looked in the history and I just think it kind of grew to an event where it's actually taken some manpower now and some planning on our part.
Yeah.
And to you know, it's not
but
extraordinary, but I think a
cover
minimum,
our overtime.
a minimum should be charged, at least for the lane closures. And we can work that through, because and when we go to the fee schedule part, I'm not suggesting we deny this application. I'm just saying that, when we talk fee schedule, if we've never blocked off just the 2 center lanes, we should have a charge for that. We've blocked off, a block, they'll have all 4 lanes and parking. So I really think that we should be able to do it, because we do several times, we've blocked off just 2 lanes on Beach Road for like the boat show.
Yeah.
And we've
correct.
charged them for that.
Right.
So I think we should add that to our fee schedule moving forward. I would recommend we approve the triathlon, but it's gonna be based on our new fee schedules like we've discussed.
And it looks like they might have changed the path again, or
That's what I was wondering.
They changed the hill, because nobody wanted to run up this hill to get to the parking lot, so they added a block in for the distance.
A more current change, but I could be wrong. That might be the
It
one
was
that
this
they
year
did.
they did it, and I kind of offhandedly approved it because it was just some people running up and down one block. There was no traffic blocking or cones involved. So I'm like, yeah, whatever you got to do to get your 3.5
Yeah.
miles.
Yeah.
Do we, the Adirondack Pub, don't they have a 5K? Does that also go on the street, or is it?
It does. That one hasn't been, we don't have that one yet, but I did want to talk about that when it comes in,
Okay, yeah.
because I got some complaints of some employees couldn't get to the bowling alley. But Gina Mitzner also said that she would help with that and getting word out, because I would really just reach out to village businesses. I don't know what goes on out there.
Yeah.
After you're out of the village, they didn't tell me they were gonna block off the entire parking lot to the bowling alley.
Right.
And then people were calling every number that they could find to try to find out why.
Yeah.
And so
The triathlon did that?
no, not the triathlon, the 80K 5K.
Okay.
Yeah. So when that comes through, it's in my gray matter to try to remember to talk about that and help me if I don't. Motion to approve the Lake George Triathlon contingent upon fee schedule.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by trustee Miller, second.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jose.
You gotta get on the record.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Mayor votes aye. Rockin' for Ronald, Shepherd Park, always a great event. Should have just taken them all and broken that one out, but it is what it is. I'll take a motion to approve Rockin' for Ronald.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Master Domenico, second.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Filomeno. Tabled from last month, Flying with Kelly's Angels.
Yeah, this is I.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Good catch. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Air votes aye. Tabled from last month, Flying with Kelly's Angels, again, great event. They just, last Thursday morning, they just awarded 4 scholarships to the Lake George Junior Senior High School. Mark Mulholland was here and they made a little press event. I completely forgot about it because I was invited and I missed it, but
That's nice when they make it public like that.
it is nice. Americade 2024 Beach Road parking lot. I'm in meetings as recently as today and as near future as tomorrow with Christian on what to do with Americade. He does definitely want to rent the Beach Road parking lot though, so what we do on the street will go for the village board approval later on, but he's definitely gonna rent the parking lot again, like as he's done every year. So I'll take a motion to approve that
Well,
based
excuse-
on our new fee schedule.
Excuse me, there also was something tabled at our last meeting, our last monthly meeting regarding waiving the fees for a country living festival. Do you remember
Yeah,
that? It's in the minutes.
Let's get through this one first. The motion to approve American
Okay.
2024 Beach Road
Just
parking
going with
lot.
tabled issues.
None of the businesses are like impacted by that parking lot being closed off, right? In that little. Have you ever asked
Not
them?
necessarily,
No
not
one
really.
said
I wouldn't
anything?
say, none of them have, they complained last year that, his
Yeah,
show
but-
was in front of their businesses on
Okay.
Beach Road. But none of the parking was, as much of an issue. I mean, parking's always at a premium during Americade, but
Do they ever block off just the road next to Wood Park there? And could it be moved to there so it's not in a parking lot or people can park and like go to the businesses?
he did that one year.
Yeah, I feel like I remember when I first moved here. That's
It
what
might have been
was.
when he did it.
Parking passes for
I think it was
motorcycles.
more a question of access, fire and medical
Oh, okay.
access, and
Okay.
that's why that didn't work out there. But, yeah, so I'm still looking for a motion to approve Beach Road parking lot for
And
American.
Kelly's,
We got that one, didn't we?
we didn't vote.
No, you were doing both.
No.
Oh, I'm taking
Same thing.
taking them together.
Yes.
And just for clarity, it's just a parking lot,
Just the
right?
parking lot.
Alright.
Everyone's like, "Just-"
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Root. All those in favor for these two, say aye.
Aye.
There votes aye. John, you want to bring up that? I thought we had that later on.
No, I don't
Do
think.
we have that on here?
No.
No, we took it off because we
Took it
felt
off.
that it was in the resolution from February to charge the money.
Yeah,
So we did get charged?
he is, in, default. He
Okay.
was here. I don't know where he went, but he was here.
Oh.
I spoke with, Bob about that today. And he can say that he will give him, a break, cause I guess Vince did him a favor because we didn't want to lose Estra. And when Americade moved, it moved into crowd at Estra. Estra wasn't gonna have the rooms they wanted to stay in. Estra had been renting, and coming to the Fort William Henry for 25 years, and we didn't want to lose them. So he had said to Vince, I think, but he would have to have had village board approval to carry it out, and and he never got it.
But he was better off in Shepherd Park.
Because
than
that
Wood
event,
Park anyway.
that event wasn't large enough for,
No, it was.
I think
it
he
was-
thought he was,
We did him a favor by.
we did, and he was thinking he was doing us a favor, I believe, and Bob told me just before the meeting that he did say, I'll give you. He didn't have the right to, really. I mean, maybe it's been done in the past, and it's gonna be up to us tonight if we want to talk about, he's in deficit for $4,000, which is half of the $8,000 bid for the farmer's market. He paid $4,000. I just was disgusted by the amount of events and the amount of not farmers market items, and hearing from retailers saying, this guy's selling jewelry, I sell jewelry, it's not a farmer's market.
Mhm.
So I had said, just go in the park. Don't sit there like a flea market on the sidewalk. And I thought it looked tawdry, in my opinion. He had, that's how Renee did it during COVID. That's how it was done since then, and he's like, I was just following, the lead of how everybody was doing it, so I put him in the park. It looked much nicer. But he was under the impression, since he paid to block off parking spots for his other events, that was included in the bid, and it's not. We blocked off parking spots every time we had a farmer's market ever, and that's because it's our farmer's market. We would want people to be able to pull up to it, get something, and then leave. Or make it visible from the street without blocking it with cars. We have like 3 spots that will allow people to pull up, namely elderly or handicaps that just want to go and get hopefully vegetables or something farmer's market related. But no, when we put him in the park, there's no sense in not renting these spaces. That was on us. We decided as a village years ago to give the parking, block off the parking so people could see the farmer's market. He was under the impression it was going to be the same rate of, was it 17 meters at $35 a day? Something to that effect. And then he had like 6 shows that he was in the park, and he did the math, and it came out to be about $2,000. He thought he was going to save that $2,000 on the remaining 4 that he owes. It's been explained to him by me. It's been explained to him by Bob that he owes that $4,000. That's what he bid to run the farmer's market. I was hoping he would stick around. I'm not sure why he left, but because he wanted to plead with the village board to give him a break on that. I don't see any reason to. I mean, my conversation with Bob and history lessons, that was on our volition to make those spaces open for people.
Can I interject for a
Sure.
second? Also, that being said, by utilizing or blocking off the parking lane in front of the park, not just for farmers market, but other projects that we've done there in the past. The state kind of requires us to keep that when we're having events on the sidewalk as shelf, it lessens that fall zone, what they call it, off the curb. And that's why we always blocked off the parking lane for safety, for additional.
For the 10-foot.
Yeah, for additional safety, if,
Yeah.
Somebody tripped in the zone, they wouldn't end up into the middle of traffic.
Yeah.
So that was a feature that's been through the state, so that really wouldn't have been viable for him to have an argument on it, because we have to do that anyway.
Right, okay. All right, so I'm fine with holding his feet to the fire on the $1,000 or the $4,000. I don't know how you guys feel, and weigh in now on how you feel about the former mayor saying, okay, we'll give you, if you move this, I'll waive the fee for the 2 days, it's $250 a day. Now, he should have had the village board vote on that. We didn't, and it wasn't on the application as such, right?
No, it was on there for like, I think it was like 500.
Yeah, it should be 2
Yeah, it
days,
was
2
2
days,
days, $250. It
$250.
was $500. It was on there, and there was nothing in any of the minutes or anything that said to waive the fee.
No, I
So-
did the research.
Yeah, you did, you found it.
Yeah.
We actually couldn't find it, John.
That's
found
why
it.
we did this, because we could not find the paperwork from when Denise had left.
It's in the minutes.
Yeah,
Right,
sure,
well, we
but in
could-
the
yeah,
staffing
but-
change, we
Documents.
didn't have the physical
Oh,
ones.
you have
There-
the paper copy.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't think about the digital ones,
Yeah.
or it didn't occur to us, but it's up to you guys. I'm willing to go either way, keep it for the 4,500, definitely the 4. If we wanted to give him a break on the 5, that's up to you guys. I don't have an opinion either way. I know he was promised it by the former mayor. He did not know that he should have gone to the village board before he promised it. I think that's on him, and he said he's guilty of it, and he'll accept whatever. Take it out of his salary.
Well, I think I also did the research, and I stated in that last meeting, he got, I think, $9,000 in occupancy tax money.
Yeah, I'm curious about how he's gonna get that, because
He hasn't gotten anything. at
his,
this
Oh,
point,
okay.
he hasn't
Because
submitted.
he has not submitted anything yet.
He was supposed to
so
use a certain amount of that for advertising. I didn't see an advertisement anywhere. So I don't
Unless
think
he
he's getting
comes up
any of
with
it.
all of the documentation and proof, then he may not see any of it. It's hard to say if he's gonna get any of it or not.
Well, that's a big number, part of the equation.
Yeah.
I don't know, so, but you're the one that's dealing with it, so I will,
You
leave it. Yeah, I
defer to
mean, you're the one
me.
that's gonna suffer,
Well,
the-
someone else can weigh in.
you're gonna suffer the
mean-
consequences.
You know what, I mean. if we get the 4,000, it's one thing, you know, but trying to push them for the 45, I mean, I would just rather give them the 250 a day. And try to get at least a 4.
I agree.
You're there? Okay.
I'm there for a full 4, not paying less than a 4. He made this year so difficult. Over there, that $4,000 is just,
Pain and suffering.
yeah, pain and suffering.
All right, we got 2 at 4. Allison, I almost called you Ally. I don't know why. Does everybody call you Ally?
No,
Okay.
I'll make it 3.
We make it 3. Okay.
I think it's confusing because it sounds like he was promised by the former mayor, and so.
I'm sure that was the intent.
It was
Yeah.
probably the intent, and then we changed places, you know, it's easy to,
And that's why
It's easy to-
250 a day, I'm not really.
I'm not as concerned about that as.
Yeah, as what he was.
Okay.
Was supposed to have paid though.
Right.
So,
we
Supposed
need
to
to-
versus.
Let's
what
do
was
it.
promised.
But don't feel
I'd like
bad
to have
because
this as
it
a
really was
resolution.
better, he was better off.
Resolution to forgive the
Right.
He would have
$500.
starved at,
$500.
he would have starved at
Yeah.
Wood
All
Park.
right.
Yeah.
All right, I'll put it in the form of a motion, resolution to forgive the $500 for the Country Living Festival in Shepherd Park, 2 days at $250 each. Is there a second?
Second it.
Seconded by trustee Joe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is this a contingent on getting the 4,000 though?
He's gotta pay that no matter what. If he doesn't pay that, he can't bid on the farmer's
Don't-
market again next year.
Don't give him the 5, you know, I guess.
Oh, well, he doesn't get it back. He owes it.
Okay,
So
you're just
Yeah.
wiping that off.
just wiping that part clean and still keep him at the 4,000 that he owes. Okay, God.
I like long meetings. Let's
Should
just
we,
do it.
yeah.
Like, I
We're not-
love this.
Who's delivering
I would
cocktails
stay
into this?
forever.
Who's
I
who's
love
babysitting?
chatting.
Who's babysitting?
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan's
You
babysitting.
guys-
Free time for Allison. Okay, let's see. Patty Kirkpatrick, last year, so we have, I'll explain to the newer members, with the sidewalk cafes.
Mhm.
We have allowed them to leave their sidewalk cafe out under certain parameters. If there is enough room for a snow removal device such as our snow blower or even a truck to get by, and that they had to stay open all winter. There are a few that have taken advantage of that. Cafe Vero being one, Giuseppe's Pizzeria being another. I'm not sure if there is a
And I
third.
don't know how many have actually used them in the winter, but.
Right, they keep them and it looks open and they look nice.
Have to keep the snow
They have
off
to
them.
keep the snow
Yeah.
off is another contingent
Yeah.
on contingency. Patty has had a sidewalk cafe in front of Nina's Sweet Shop
Mhm.
since its inception.
Mm.
And every year she took it in and it's starting to, they had to do a lot of repairs because it's a deck and you have to move it. So last year, a couple times actually, John, wouldn't you say, Joe? A
Yeah,
couple
these three
times she asked
she's
us, we
full.
told her no.
Yeah.
Last year she asked, please, pretty please, I guess, maybe,
With Keith's blessing too.
with Keith's blessing,
Yeah.
and that, she did fine. And so we did it as a trial.
Mhm.
Where we said, we'd really like you to stay open, but, give it some thought. So she's not sure if she's gonna open up, depending on the traffic we're gonna see this winter. But she's also asking, can we let her go? The first year that we tried it, it worked fine. Keith, is there any
Yeah, there
issues?
wasn't any issues. And it's a substantial structure, it's durable, so it's not like it's just a couple of tables and some cafe chairs, it's where it's gonna go blowing out into the road.
Yeah.
It's substantial, so I didn't see any problem with it.
Okay, she maintains it well. There's always got a fresh coat of paint every year, so, I'll take a motion to,
Well, just-
oh, okay.
So do we have people that do have decks and the part of the agreement is that they need to stay open all year? Cause I think if we're saying like you can have yours and not stay open, it's kind of. Right, kind of changing the rule.
Well, we're allowing it for the parameters that it meets. We allowed it last year for a trial
Okay.
to see if it posed any problem for any futures. Our biggest concern is
This
snow
not
removal.
removable, yeah.
And I'm not looking to amend the law, I'm like allowing an exception. If something comes and someone says, hey, how come you did that? Then we'll talk about amending the local law.
Some of the cafes are just railings.
Yeah,
Right, I just don't want
like the
like,
one at Jack Barry's or at Pablo's even.
Yeah.
When I built that, it was just a railing because
Right.
the ground was flat enough. She had to build it because the sidewalk slopes quite a bit from the front of her doorway down to the walk, that whole side.
Right. And then if you
Yeah.
just, every year dismantling it, putting and reassembling it, it just came apart.
I did have a resident ask if she could remove the fake vegetation from the side, because I guess when they drive down that
Iroquois Street?
the street, they feel like they can't see
The
past
alley,
it,
yeah.
and so if it stays up, maybe that could be removed. just
Yeah,
so-
yeah, the green stuff, yeah,
Safety,
yeah. She
yeah.
probably
I
brings
would
that in
think- I
anyway.
would think she would bring it in when it gets, you
Yeah.
know, a little closer into the, yeah, but we can
Yeah.
add that.
Well, I think they're probably more complaining during the summer because they
Yeah.
can't see around the deck as opposed to.
Stay off
winter.
Iroquois Street in the summer.
Just so-
Yeah,
if you can make it safe, see through, I get that.
Motion to approve Patty's request.
So,
Second? Second. By trustee Uday. All those in favor say aye. Those say nay. Mayor votes aye. Okay, now I want to read this again, just so actually, Julie, you want to explain this one a little bit more? You did such a
Okay.
good job explaining it to
Oh,
me.
number 6.
Yeah.
We have approval of policy adoption of preferred name and pronoun by Attorney Fuller. New York State legislation deemed that any place that has utilities like water, sewer, has to offer to its residents the option to be called what they want, have that, however their name comes out, the pronoun, you know, he, she, Mr., you can change your name,
They, them.
whatever, but it's basically a form that we would send out to our residents that says, please let us know so that we are, you know, not offending you in any way. Kind of thing, and it's new, we're just complying with new legislation. And so that's basically it, as a policy, to adopt that policy, that Matt Fuller wrote it up, he wrote up the form, he says here, we would just basically fill in our information as far as we're the village and all of that, and it asks to deem one person in particular in charge of it, and I'm gonna ask that Lori Bott be the person in charge, because she's the one that sends out all
She
of
does
the
the water bills.
invoicing for our water and so on, so that's basically what that is. The unpaid water and rent, you know,
That's
that's
just going
just
to relevy,
re-levying,
yeah.
and the request to waive the fees for the firehouse. Donnie, do you wanna,
But that was that's for a birthday party.
it's just for a birthday
Someone in the
party.
emergency squad, it's $25. We usually waive the fees for a member to use the
Do it
room.
for our members,
Yeah.
a member of the emergency squad, who's an officer actually. So
So.
I didn't know if the courtesy could be extended to them as well.
I don't see a reason why not. Does anyone for a kid's birthday party? No?
no,
I
They're not
will,
using the kitchen or anything. it's just
Yeah.
using the room.
Do we get cake?
The balloon, you'll get a balloon.
A few buckets.
Yeah.
dropped off to your house. So I'll take all three of those. Motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, so motion on the floor, second,
I'll second it.
seconded by trustee Joe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Trustee Lee. Trustee Lee.
Okay.
Trustee he, trustee him. They them. What's that? Thanks to him. Yeah. Next time, I'm sure if you would get that one. Okay, what's
Arbor Day.
Arbor Day proclamation?
Every year.
Every year we have to.
Every year well, in order to maintain our Tree City USA status, we have to have a village Arbor Day proclamation. April 30th every year as Arbor Day in the village of Lake George.
I think we did one, right? We have to
We
do it this month.
did it last year, but we never designated a day. So this, yeah, we're gonna try to do a tree planting ceremony, but this is our Arbor Day proclamation to designate April 30th every year as Arbor Day in the village of Lake George. I will take a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by trustee Miller on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee. Now let me speak. Don't cough too hard. So Keith, take the stage on number 8, equipment loan form, loan agreement.
Oh, yeah, well. Yeah, for our equipment to be loaned out.
Mhm, yeah.
Okay, we have, an IMA, or actually just basically an equipment list. It's been a couple years now that we've done this. One of the first stipulations is we don't really have, much of a structured, rate per hour, so to speak, for the equipment itself. Our guideline on this was that if, that any equipment that got shared, whether it's with another municipality, which would mostly be the case anyway, it has to be accompanied by a village employee that knows how to run that position. First off, for safety and safety of the person using it, and then the machinery as well. I think we should, it has been a while again, so I think we should revisit a pay rate or pay schedule for some of the, need to upgrade some of the equipment. This list is mostly newer equipment here, which is fortunate. There is a couple items that we don't have anymore. They've been surplus. So I think I need to take a little time, and then I'll work. What I've done in the past a little bit is take FEMA prices for different pieces of equipment and utilize that. They're a pretty, you know, obviously it's FEMA, you know, they're gonna have the best information to send back out to us, is my opinion. So we'll follow up on this and probably add some more items to it as well. And then I'll submit it to you probably.
I mean, like the town having our scissor lift
Yeah,
last week or something like that.
Yeah,
We didn't have anybody with them on it, but I mean, they did have a person who was trained on it.
yes, correct. Yeah, something of
so-
that nature.
I mean, would we run like
but if
a,
it, you know, like
yeah.
our mini excavator, we're not just gonna send it nilly-willy somewhere, not knowing, you know, the person that's actually gonna run it. Again, we would still wanna accommodate or, be part of the equation as well as, one type of employee or another.
Yeah. Okay. And then would be, you think are your thoughts to be like, kind of keep a tally going? And then when
Yeah, oh, yeah.
we need something from them in kind, hopefully worth
Yeah,
around the same thing.
Or we've done it, like, for instance, the back truck, we have, an hourly rate set for that because of the type of vehicle that it is.
Mhm.
How sensitive that piece of equipment is to not only the village, but also formerly in the town, when they bought our,
Old catchback. Yeah.
catchback. So we had a flat rate of $150 an hour for two people and a piece of equipment. And including in that was a follow-up, a pickup truck to the second person, in the event that, you know, you didn't need to drive the truck somewhere, you had a pickup to go along with it. So that was all encompassed in that $150 amount. That's the only one really quantified at that point, because everything else is a little bit smaller, I guess, and not as intricate. So again, I think it's time for us to go ahead and revisit this whole thing. And because, you know, we've had Old Lanning has asked us to share equipment. Soil and Water's asked us, you know, different things like that. So this is a good time to get this fresh.
Yeah, upgrade the price tiering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Primarily the price,
definitely.
but also the type of equipment that we have available as well.
Yep, we should definitely have a
And we should
A
cover
list
the
that we
least
can
cost
reference.
of what it's
Yeah.
gonna cost us with the labor, like you said.
maybe the age of the equipment
Figured
could be
into the-
included in that list
Yeah,
as well.
there is, there's other places I can look and compare, you know, so I'll follow up.
Sounds good. So 2024 flowers have to be ordered now, because they need to get the right amounts of seeds to start the plants growing over the winter for us to make our village beautiful. We've got the winning bid is Garden Time. It was actually a little bit of nervousness on Judy's part, who has left us, because we went with Jim Gerard last year and we got very subpar plants. As some of you are aware, they did make good on it, but it was a decent amount of undue stress to Judy. So she was happy to see that Garden Time won the bid both in financially, and she was happy with their stuff. No insult to Jim Gerard. Sometimes people just get bad luck with plants, and wherever they ordered them from, it's likely not their fault. But I would like to make a motion that we award the flower bid for 2024. Now, this is both the village and the town,
Yes.
correct? to garden time. Is there a second?
I'll
I think Allison got in there first.
second.
Seconded by trustee Miller. Is there, all in favor, say aye.
Let's stop quick.
Mayor votes aye. Sure.
Okay,
What do you
so
got?
we need to go back to Arbor Day proclamation. I just need everybody's vote.
Oh,
individual.
Well, yeah,
Ah,
well, just all together, we got the, the motion in the second, but we didn't vote.
I've been doing that a lot today.
So I just need to know, vote on it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
But
sorry about that.
that's okay.
Votes.
I said aye.
Usually you get mayor votes.
So John Pettit has been with us for 9 years, 8 years. Okay, he is of retirement age and status, and he will be hanging up his boots.
Yep.
He's been a good employee, good man.
Johnny Walker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Johnny Walker.
So
I didn't think
he
he was that
sent.
old. He looked young.
He's got his time in. I don't know how
Well,
old
he,
he is.
he was, in a municipality down in Long Island for, I wanna say, better part of 18 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's. I'm
Got his
sure he-
20 in.
Pardon me?
He's got his 20 in.
Yeah, correct, yeah, plus. Yeah.
Plus, right. So I just need to approve. His personal time, what do you got?
Wait, we're gonna, yeah, we just need to approve the payout. We'll take it from our compensated absent reserve. Basically that way we have that so that when somebody retires, we don't get hurt and have to pay 2 people for 1 job, so.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye, and we wish him well. Okay, this is a big one. Guys, this is the big one. The most amount of money I hope you ever have to talk about again on the village board, or anywhere for that matter. Closing of the wastewater treatment project and moving from short-term financing to long-term financing on October 26th. Calendar down here. So in 10 days, we will have a 0 interest loan with M&T Bank for $8,471,971 over a course of 30 years. All I need is an approval to close. I had signed the papers already. Not much of a choice really, but just to make a formality of it, so Keith can bring them to our attorney.
We really don't even need a resolution.
We don't need a
It's just-
resolution?
It's basically letting you know. that
Okay,
it's-
good.
It's gonna be happening.
Yeah.
It has to happen.
Yeah.
We have no.
But it is a
choice.
0% loan, which is good.
Yeah.
Not gonna get that in today's market. Spectrum Wi-Fi for the water department. The water department has,
No, it's
not water, street department. The street department where
Oh,
Keith's
yeah.
office is, has DSL for internet.
Mhm.
It is painstakingly slow. I sent Keith an email and it took 10-15 minutes for him to get it.
Yeah.
And there wasn't even an attachment. So, it's not a lot of money. What do you got here for the quote on that? Just
Basics is 49.99
50
a month.
bucks a month. And we can get rid of the DSL, which is probably 30. Not sure what that's
Yeah,
costing.
I'm not exactly sure, but it's
I mean,
probably around
It's
there.
terrible. This is 2023, almost 2024.
That's Verizon, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's-
Keeping the landlines for them, or?
we still have the landlines, we have to.
Yeah,
That's probably why they get the cheaper rate.
Yeah,
So we have the landline.
and
Yeah.
you get the landline and it's not gonna cost any more money. I don't even know it's gonna be, cause you get a discounted rate for having both of them. Cause I had to keep mine to keep my landline. I basically have still DSL at the house.
Do you really?
Yeah. I don't use it
Oh, but you have the
to
spectrum.
get the
of it.
discount.
Oh, to
So-
bundle. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so you might wanna look into
well,
the,
Lori's on top of that.
Yeah.
Lori's got this. Lori's on.
but
the
I'm just
stick
saying,
here.
that's just something I know.
And as an aside, I did speak with a fiber company called Slick Fiber, who is providing broadband in the Adirondack Park in the northeast or northwest of us from Potsdam down through the Adirondacks into,
Catskills, I believe.
Catskills as well. They're looking to become a competitor to, Spectrum as far as, internet and broadband.
Nice.
And they are looking,
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, bring it.
yeah, they are looking to, lease a space, some ground space for us at one of our municipal buildings. I was thinking maybe the water department, but in exchange for that, the village buildings will possibly get free internet. So, but, and they're working on all of their, they have to lease a certain spot on the pole to run fiber. So they're working on all that with National Grid, but they need a hub to, and why not a village property?
Yeah, and I
Get
think,
some free internet out of the deal.
That would probably help with the parking.
Absolutely, and it would help, and I've been in discussion with the man about how we could expand upon a neutral host free Wi-Fi throughout the village. That's where we're headed.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a bit to get there, but
At least in the parking district.
like in the
anyway.
park, the
Yeah.
parking district, I mean, I could see having security cameras on each intersection. The fire department, when they put their security cameras up, I asked them to have one facing the intersection and they obliged. So anything that happens at that corner, we got our eyes on it. So yeah, that's just an aside, but as far as the $50 a month to get Keith set up with 21st century internet, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion on the floor by trustee Joe. There's a second.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Root. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Okay, this is my favorite. Push button LED flashing crosswalk discussion. Keith and I have gone to each of the 5 crosswalks on Route 9, Canada Street, the school, the mid-block crossing by Shepherd Park, the mid-block crossing by the post office, the crosswalk by the Lobster Pot across from Fort William Henry, and then the parking or crosswalk by the Adirondack Brew Pub going toward
Right.
Wood Park. If you see your materials, these are becoming quite handy. And some of those, 2 of those southernmore crosswalks, people are approaching at 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You're taking, I
Yeah,
walk
hill
a
too,
lot
yeah.
and there's a hill. I walk a lot and you take your life into your own hands sometimes. And even on the mid-block ones in the downtown stretch, if somebody stops in that middle lane, the car behind them, I've seen them furiously go around this car wondering who the hell they are for stopping and,
Right.
and why. And that second lane, you can, and people lead with the stroller too, so,
Some people don't look.
yeah, so I think it's at this stage of the game, and I also think because of the increased traffic we're gonna see due to our winter events that are going on, where parking is on one side and the event is on the other, we can definitely utilize these. The ones I found are double-sided. So they flash on each side and they have a face on each side, so you could look on both sides of the street. It's a push button. They do make motion sensors. I don't think that's ideal. I think the push button, and then they'll go for 60 seconds.
Indication that they're crossing.
Indication
not
that there could be
standing.
someone in the crosswalk, right?
Not that if you
And
do
that's
the
what
motion
these-
one,
That's what these signs will do as a function. So it's for 2, which would be one. It's $5,800, and we ended up with a grand total. Did you have it in here, Julie?
No, it's,
It's like 16,000 for, that was the 30-inch. The 24-inch was 20,000 for 5 crosswalks. This money could be made available to us from Octax. There is a grant that the Adirondack Glens Falls Transit Connection puts out in November, which we can apply for post haste. That might cover these in its entirety, but we can also ask for occupancy tax funds, because I think it's a good use for occupancy tax.
I think that's a good idea.
Keep our visitors safe, keep our residents safe. And I think that they're solar powered, so we don't need power.
Mhm.
I think I read that one full charge will last 7 days, so we could have a 7-day eclipse and they'll still work.
Yeah, I would love for him to come out of occupancy tax. And one of the main reasons is because even where we have the buttons for the crosswalks, I see people not using.
Oh,
them.
a controlled crosswalk.
Yeah.
They are
And
able
that's
to be
what's-
ticketed for that
Yeah.
if we had a police force or if the sheriff's department wanted to, they
Yeah.
can. That's abused more often than not. I think this, and that's annoying, I get it.
Yeah.
This is more of a safety, like. We,
Sure.
we have signage, there's plenty of signage for
Yeah.
the crosswalks. Keith and I have identified each crosswalk and where to move these signs or install these signs or
Yeah.
plant them and we got the
So
paperwork all put together, ready to send for, we have to apply for a permit from DOT, which they waive the fee.
That's the one.
It's very similar to
Similar to
that,
one,
yeah.
With the flashing light.
Mhm.
Up and
This
down.
one has the flashing, these have the flashing lights.
Oh, on around the sign
In
itself.
the thing,
Right.
they,
we will still have to purchase, bases and poles.
bases and poles,
To some
but
degree.
some of the 2 or 3 of the crosswalks we've found that, and we gotta revisit that, since
Yes.
we're going with double-sided, we gotta revisit the one where we're gonna bolt it to our street lamp.
Correct.
Unless we can sandwich it, but, we've noticed on some, like the schools, for instance, we can use the existing signposts, just put our new sign
Yeah,
up.
we should be, I submitted that today,
Yep.
up at the state, and, there's a guy there that kind of knew what we were talking about.
Mm.
So hopefully after they do the review, that'll come out, in the wash with, utilizing the state's poles. So I got that talking to them as well.
Yeah, cause they yell at us if we
They do.
use their stuff without asking.
When you talk about the school, are you talking about the one on Ottawa Street?
No, the one on Canada, just Canada Street.
Okay. Cause the one on, that gets a lot of kids traffic going up to the,
It does when they go up to the ball field,
yeah,
yeah.
and it's not a good line of sight because of the bushes and the shrub in my corner there. They can get out there and they don't see them coming from the.
We might be able to send a letter out to the owner of the place and maybe they can cut
They can
those
cut those
shrubs
shrubs
down.
back,
so they
yeah.
can-
That'd be Dan Malella, if you want his address.
We might know someone that lives.
We might
there
know
that can
somebody
talk
that
to
lives
them.
in the
Or,
neighborhood.
you know what, if you eliminated that parking on the corner, you'd have a better, like,
Yeah.
did you do the research on it? No,
On,
on,
I think the village owns those shrubs. Because
Oh,
when we
yeah.
did that project in 1999, the
probably,
water main goes up through there,
yeah.
so I think that could be village property.
But as far as, parking,
No, I'm just
From
saying,
the curb?
access, access to cut back the shrubs.
Right.
Sorry, that's all.
but I remember we had that discussion about how close you can park a car to a curb.
Oh, yeah.
You would take, it was
Oh.
determined on the speed of the street.
The type of road they got.
Right, yeah.
And it's-
That one
it's-
wasn't in the
it's-
5 that we talked about.
Yeah.
No,
But it's not a year round.
It's a tough one because it's kind of crosswalk to the middle of a street.
that's
Yeah.
probably not even legal, that.
I mean, it's a
Probably
school
right.
zone
You can't
anyway,
terminate a
you know.
crosswalk into oncoming traffic, you know?
Yeah, okay.
So I guess I'm looking for approval to go ahead with this, nice little project.
If they don't approve occupancy tax for this, where would we get the funds?
We have it.
Okay, so it's already, it's
yeah.
something that's already budgeted. It's not like we're pulling from. some-
Budgeted, we'd probably have to transfer from somewhere else where it's not being used, or we have, some excess money from I keep saying about the parking meters that we left them out.
Okay.
And the revenues from that, so we're not gonna get into any type of a shortfall, but I am of the utmost confidence that this is gonna be awarded through our octax. We just got town and village just got $150,000 check sent to the town, which we haven't even talked about how we're gonna divvy it up. That's where I'm gonna request it comes from, and I shouldn't have any issues.
Okay.
Cause it's half ours
And we have to
anyway.
make the sale if there's ever a consolidation of the two, the town would be taking them over, so they
That's right,
might
they're gonna
want.
own them eventually, maybe.
Right.
Mm,
So, that might be a push for them to participate in the venture.
All right, so, I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Root on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Joe. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Mayor votes aye. We kind of covered, number 14 already.
Yes.
So let's skip on to water changes.
I'll make a motion, we approve the water changes, transfers and audit.
Perfect. And is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jose. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Yeah, I'm gonna
This is-
bring this last thing up, this truck, our water truck and our brining truck. The engine blew on it. Probably during car show, during donuts or burnouts. No, it unexpectedly, it is a diesel. We've had nothing but trouble with this truck since we got it.
Yeah.
A good way to explain this quickly is, our DPW just, repaired a drain pipe, very large, 48-inch drain pipe that runs from the, where the McDonald's used to be, all of the water, storm water that comes down through the village, a majority of it goes through this pipe. It was metal in between two concrete pieces, and it rotted out, as metal does. We put in the budget, Keith put in the budget $75,000 to repair it, because we thought we were gonna have to hire a company to come and do that. And patience prevailed. We finally got enough dry weather where they just dug in and took a good look at it, and we had a couple of pieces of pipe in our inventory that ended up working. And Keith and the men figured out a way to repair the pipe, encapsulate it in concrete. It was a polyvinyl chloride pipe that just it fit the bill. So they parged it from the inside and encapsulated the whole thing with concrete. Cost us about $3,000. So that $75,000 in the budget for this job, we have about 73 or so, or 72 or so
No.
remaining. No,
We had 70.
oh, 70.
And he's
Okay.
used about $3,000 of it, so we
Okay.
have about 67,000.
So the quotes we received is one for 67. That's with a flatbed installed. The other one was out without it installed, correct? Yeah, so about $67,000 for a flatbed with, or a truck with a flatbed installed on it with a wood deck, so we could take our water tank that we water the flowers with off, and then put on our brining tank, which we brine the streets with in the winter. If we can get it. Now, the biggest problem is we haven't found one.
Right,
That's-
what we need to do at this point is we would take the specs, we would go out to bid. We have to for this amount of money, and depending on who comes in, the least expensive that can get it to us the quickest, hopefully. We'll spec that we would like something that's in stock, but most likely it'll be built to order, but we can tell them our term, our limits, we need it within 120 days. We can tell them whatever we need in order to make this work when we put it out to bid. But what we're looking for tonight is approval to go out to bid and to transfer the money from what was in the culvert repair to the streets.
It's both a general fund.
Right, they are both general fund.
Yeah, so I'm not having any issue. We can and have in the past utilized another vehicle to get us by, but some of these places, they're looking at a 220-day lead time, which is,
And
that's the end. We're done with winter by
possibility
then. And with the strike, the auto workers strike is
Yeah,
it's a
that's a
difficult-
very good point, right?
difficult time to, order something to be
Great
built
point.
from you. I don't know who's gonna build it, but some scabs.
Yeah,
But
so-
so I will take a motion to approve the transfer for the purchase of the truck.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Filomeno, is there a second? I believe it was trustee Miller, okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Next village board meeting is scheduled for Monday, November 20th, 2023 at 4:30 PM. Let's go through, we had a lot of discussion. John, you got anything else?
Quickly, doesn't need to have any discussion, but I just want to let you know that I was in Albany and I parked my car and their paying displays are much more advanced. You can actually, I just typed in my license plate. It's all letters, there's no numbers. It spit out a ticket. I didn't have to display it.
Really?
Yeah,
That's exactly what they had in Lake Placid as well.
yeah, we're already behind the
Jeez, and I thought
times.
we were ahead.
No, but it was very convenient. And I watched people struggle on our
They
streets.
use the park, they use a different app, don't
Park
they?
Albany.
Park Albany, yeah.
I don't know if they had that specially designed for them, but it was very user friendly. One other thing, I did watch the meeting you had with O&M or whatever you call
Oh,
it.
County on them.
It was the audio was pretty garbled,
Hmm.
but it sounds like a good direction with a new playground down there or whatever.
Yeah, I actually talked to Allison a little bit about it, and we're looking at this, putting a splash pad. There's an area
Oh,
by the, her idea, by the way. I just chose the location. There's an area by the bathrooms that was gonna be the original fountain. You'll see it's a circle of grass. It
Mhm.
was gonna be, that was gonna be the main fountain, I think, originally. They ended up moving it to where the fountain is now, due to budget reasons and also kind of, it looks nicer from the road if you go to see the
Oh, yeah.
park with the fountain in
Yeah,
front of it.
right.
So there's infrastructure. We don't know exactly what, but there's infrastructure in the ground at that location.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking and talking to some people who design and build splash pads, and they're really neat because they'll work from a certain hours, whatever you program to another certain hour. It becomes its own water system that gets a certain amount of treatment with its own on-board chemicals,
Mhm.
and then it'll get flushed into the drain after a certain amount of time, or but the kid steps on it, and then it starts
Oh,
for
yeah.
like 10 or
Nice.
15 minutes, and then there's no risk of drowning, no risk of slipping and falling.
Mhm.
They're all the rage right now, so hoping to add that element into it, and also throughout the park, what is deemed safe now was not deemed safe when they designed it, and so there'll be a lot of multiple things, maybe new stuff, colors.
Is it still a playground? Is it an adult space too somewhat?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can walk there.
Right.
You can play if you want
The
to.
benches and
Yes.
some comfort
Oh, yeah.
shaded
There'll be some
areas.
shaded
there.
areas and, but yeah, it's so. We're gonna, hopefully, I sent the intent for the RFP. Danae helped us with that because Kevin Hajos is just busy. He's got a whole county to worry about. So I asked if I could assist. And so Danae wrote an intent for an RFP, sent it over to him today. I haven't heard back, but trying to get some things rolling. Maybe we could get some design work done and some grant money from potentially the Wood Foundation or the Wright Family Foundation, who originally paid for the design and construction of the playground, or the Pappy's Playground. And so in talks with them to do that. I think it's heading in the right direction.
Good.
Thank you. Joe.
No, I don't think there's much. I mean, I was down for Oktoberfest. Friday night and Sunday, pretty much for the day on Sunday with my grandson.
Nice.
I thought it went well. I mean, I had some reservations on some of the things going on with the vendors, but it really seemed to work out well. There wasn't a lot of doubles and I don't think it took away from anything. So, I mean, I thought the weekend was a good weekend.
Well,
All in all, but that's,
even last weekend was cranking.
Yeah.
Yesterday or Sunday and Saturday was cranking. It was busy.
You didn't go Saturday in the rain?
no, I was working. I was working.
Yeah.
But no, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So looking forward to get some leaves out in the street, but
How about you, Jose? Anything to add?
We're gonna get this nice, beautiful, brand new flatbed truck. Can we get pricing on a plow or a brine? And maybe get you a new Escalade for a private vehicle?
All the above.
Oh, I did want to mention that. Thank you for reminding me. I did want to mention that, I know the town just went through, the LGA to get the brining equipment and also some augers and potentially a live edge plow. Is that something we could,
Well, we purchased the brine from the town. They have a unit now that's gonna be county.
oh, no, I'm not looking to buy brine. I know where we're getting our brine. I'm talking about a new plow for the new truck.
Oh, actually, we're gonna be taking the plow that's on the truck that just died on us. That plow is fully functional. It's gonna take, probably I'd say about $1,700 to switch it into the new truck when we do get it.
Mhm.
So we're gonna reuse the same equipment we have. for
Okay,
that.
it doesn't need to, I had heard some grumblings that it never worked right as long as we had the truck, the plow didn't work right either.
Plows work fine.
Okay,
If there's anything, I'll find out about it.
okay.
So it's been used right up until last.
Is that stainless steel one?
That one has, I forget, now. We got 2 stainless steel and 2 painted, so it's one, I believe it's one of the painted.
It's one or the other. Okay.
Yeah,
All right, yeah,
so-
so well, let's look into it, and if any of the regular daily operators have anything
Yeah.
to say, maybe a button, see, maybe we can get it funded through LGA, or, I know the live edge plows are
Okay,
kind of neat to,
well, if that's
Forward
the
thinking.
case, we have one that's the oldest, which is Dale Perry's truck.
Mhm.
If we can his truck is still quite viable.
Yeah.
We wanted the plow, his plow has had some hurdles. So if we had an opportunity to get something out of the guys, then, for a new plow, that'd be great.
yeah, let me know, and I'll talk to the powers that be over there. Cool.
Sounds good.
Is that it? Allison? You good? Oh, are you done?
I'm all done.
Okay.
I
Allison.
hurt my back.
Yeah,
Public
see
record.
that,
Judy and I were talking, we have to do the tree planting this month, so the tree planting has to happen this month, and I don't know if she's had a conversation with you yet, because I think it was just today. I think the goal was it was going to be birch trees in Shepherd Parks, but she can't get birch trees. So the other thing is we're putting aside funds for street trees, correct?
Yes.
Because I wanna make
We
sure-
have
what I'm
money
saying.
for
Yeah.
in our budget.
So we were just kind of wondering everyone's opinion on the type of tree, because it sounded like from what she's heard from the nursery is that the best tree to put out is a honey locust,
Mhm.
because it's hardy and it basically is resistant to like a lot of
Drought,
diseases.
salt,
Yeah.
Everything can't
Small
kill
leaves, easy cleanup.
small leaves that
Yeah.
disintegrate. They don't clog your
Yeah.
stormwater
Yeah.
grates.
And so she said the conundrum is that you can get other various types of trees, which is nicer to have, because for whatever reason, if something was to come through and wipe out all the honey locusts, then basically all our trees are wiped out, but
We've been there.
We've been there with ash trees and
yeah.
No, I mean, when we
so-
did the street, we
Oh,
cut all the
that, yeah,
trees
yeah.
down on Cannon Street.
So she said the probability of that is very low. Getting variation trees, the probability of them not being very good street trees is also very high. So we're kind of wondering, like, if we go with the honey locust, you're kind of looking for just one look and all of the trees will be basically honey locusts. Are people okay with that, or
I
would
have
you?
no issues with that.
the ones in the park on the American Legion side of they're beautiful.
Yeah,
As long as they're kept up. And that honey locusts have been around. I mean, so have ash.
yeah,
So so we're elms,
yeah.
yeah.
but I mean, you're talking about every 50 to 100 years, some type of blight happens
Right.
to a certain type of tree. I think I think we're worrying about something that we really don't.
She
Yeah.
said it shouldn't be a problem, and
Yeah.
as long as everyone's happy with it's gonna be a very uniform look of just honey locust, then that's what.
It's better than those stinking, what are they?
Regions.
No, Norway maples. I like Norway maples, but they are an invasive species.
How big is the tree to be, what do they call it, the size?
It's a caliber,
Caliber.
3 to 3.5 inch. That's as big as we can get, and they're about, what, $400 each? I
Yeah, I
think
think that was.
we had enough. We're looking at 5, and it's gonna be like $2,000.
And I think they're like 50% off right now.
Yeah,
and
so
it's a
now's the
good
time
thing
to buy them, and the spot I looked, I told Keith about it. I don't know if I talked to you, Allison.
No.
When you're looking at the Ben and Jerry's, you know how there's those steps there that go up to the
Right.
Kurisaka, to the sidewalk and then up to, in front of the Kurisaka building.
You're right,
There's already planters in there that are tree pits,
empty,
empty.
Yeah.
Um,
banged up.
banged up, if John Helms and I looked at it with Judy, and if everyone's confident, we pour a new top on them, they're as good as new.
Mhm.
But moving down south toward the visitor center, there are 3 vacant tree pits that are just bricked over with our pavers.
Mhm.
And another one of Allison's ideas I'm starting to employ is that the larger structures near the street, these would be raised tree pits that could double as seating. We talked about that early on. Cuts down on jaywalking quite a little bit if there's something impeding you from walking across the street, but
Mhm.
I also like the idea that we're gonna make them at bench height, so about 18 inches with the cap, and bricks. So maybe moving forward, at least until if we decide to do anything. I've heard nothing but complaints about how much of a pain in the butt the tree pits are with the steel grates. Cause it takes 2 to 3 people to move them, and then you gotta weed it in them, and it's usually filled with cigarette butts, and with a raised bed, it's a heck of a lot easier to weed. You don't need a tree grate, you can just have mulch, which the mulch could be
Yeah,
changed
those are-
every
those are
year.
5x5, you can cut it down to 4x4. and
Yeah.
Still have plenty of roof area for the new trees to, blossom.
And enough room for 8 people to sit comfortably
Yeah.
around the tree.
And it's great viewing for the car show.
No,
Okay,
you wouldn't be able to see because there'd be a car parked in front of you.
And if you were
If you're up
standing on,
18
that, if you're standing on it,
Well, if somebody sat on your shoulders, then they'd be able to.
So then I'm just gonna send her a message saying we're okay with the honey
Yeah.
locust, cause
Yeah.
the nurseries are like.
I think
contacting her.
she said the other day, I had said we have the money in the, I don't know if she pulled the trigger already or not, but.
She went and she just wanted to make sure everyone was okay with it to reserve them.
Yeah.
She should've
There was
brought it
2
up.
varieties of the honey locust that she was looking at, and one of them was I'm gonna look, because she texted me, a broadcast or shade master. Shade master locust is what it is. And then the other one is a honey. She gave me the Latin, which I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, so they have 3 to 3.5 caliber for $3.99 a piece, and that's 50% off. So, and she knows they had 3. She thinks they might have 5. So we'll get a good start on this fall of
Yeah.
planting and replanting in some tree pits that have been vacant for many years. And we get the bricks, because we can't get that size brick anymore. For some reason, when we had to repair, the new bricks don't fit. They just marginally changed them, so
That's the
We are-
game. That's the game, right? You gotta buy all new ones now.
that's right. Cause we had a brick come out by the post office and we tried to put one in and didn't fit.
Ryan, you can bring it to our house, Ryan will cut it for you.
There you go, he's got
Yeah,
that
we've
kind of
got
work
a
going
lot of
on now.
stuff going on There that you can cut stones with, so
You got anything else?
that's it.
Alright, since trustee Allison said that's it, I'll take a motion to
Oh,
adjourn.
I got one more.
Oh, wait, Keith's got something.
Yeah, just FYI, a week from today, the 23rd, is when our paving is supposed to start commencing.
Oh, good. When was it?
This coming, Monday.
Oh, good,
the
good.
23rd, so probably 2 days of milling first, and then follow up, maybe, I don't know how they're gonna break it up. I'm gonna reach out to the, contractor, best paving. They said they're gonna start on Monday, whatever phase they wanna start with. So we've got Cooper, Helen, Skylar, there's 4, different sections of Skylar.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to let you guys know that we are gonna be out there. We're gonna ask, Devin or Lori or somebody to make up some, just little temporary flag of signs that we can put on the lawns on the same areas that we're gonna be, doing the paving. So that people don't, leave their car in the middle of the road and,
Right.
that kind of thing, trying to we've done it in the past, with some just regular like, snow sticks and just, it's only there for a week, so.
Yeah.
What's the date?
So you'll see some of those.
Next
Monday,
week, Monday.
starting Monday.
Okay.
I saw that.
No, it's not me, so,
Her husband's
If you-
working on their house and
yeah.
they have some stuff in the street right now currently. He'll take care of it.
Some.
yes, I'm gonna talk to him, cause I wanna know the
I
date.
ignored it.
So week, I will be like, we need to get some stuff out of the road
There's
here.
some motivation there.
We
Uh,
leave in 3 days, so he needs to do it
Oh, yeah.
tomorrow.
It's gonna stink.
Keith, if there's any extra paving left over, and I noticed up at the, up at our shrubbery, place that we get rid of our old shrubbery leaves and stuff like that.
Oh, the red part?
Yeah, I noticed there was like extra paving stuff that we might have had from when we put that new culvert
Yeah,
drain.
you're right.
If we have any left over or anything, you think there might be something we're able to do on Macomb Street where you got that 1 inch
Oh, yeah, on the hill there where it
right in front
melted.
of the dentist's office.
Yeah. Oh, on
Well, I
Macomb,
talked-
okay.
I
Macomb.
talked to John about that already. Unfortunately, you know, and I've learned this in the past with the paving companies, they put down exactly what.
What they
No,
need.
they won't touch it.
Yeah.
No, because that was our stuff.
Yeah, so, because we're gonna be, there's a lot of activity gonna be in that corner.
Yeah,
So when they get done and out of there, we're probably just gonna grab some material ourselves. I think there's a couple other spots that the water department had to fix, for the state over on 9N. So we'll have a day of blacktop coming up soon, probably after our week of our full blacktop. day.
Are we taking the millings?
No, we get rid of them. We haven't. we don't
Okay, because I
have-
know we've been using them up at the rec park.
Some got dropped off, inadvertently without anybody knowing. So I think they used some, at the sewer plant, one of that back area, where the
Mhm.
storage area is there. And they did use somebody dumped a number of loads up at the rec park and nobody fessed up to it. We're not really supposed to be stockpiling that stuff.
Yeah.
We used it to get it not out of sight, but used it so it looks like it's there for a reason.
Mhm.
We're not, but again, the part of the contract is they haul out everything out, you know,
Right.
whatever gets milled,
Okay,
you know. I mean, if there was something that dire and we needed them, I'm sure they would accommodate us with a load or something like that. They actually get revenue out of the millings. So that's a, you know, it's a win-win for them too. But again, with a small community like us, we have, you know, we don't have the use for millings.
yeah, we have 7 miles of road.
Yeah,
So you got anything else?
no, that's it.
Jeff, we are working on the check-in law.
Oh.
I don't want to, we didn't really talk about it at the meeting, but we're discussing, it's kind of not necessarily mirroring Glens Falls's law, because Glens Falls's law was so that nobody could have chickens, but the distances like from property lines we're discussing. Dan and I, Allison had some homework that she did, and Dan and I have been discussing it, so you'll see something coming soon. I didn't want you to think we weren't working on it.
That long lost relative that you're happy to see but can't ever get rid of anymore.
I like you coming to the meetings.
Uncle
Eddie.
You don't get to hear this, you know, and I think more people should be involved to a certain extent.
I agree, just the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did forget, I saw on Dan's report that he would like to come next time
Mhm.
to talk to us about the workforce housing study.
Yeah.
I think that would be great.
It would be good to have everyone, yeah,
Can you talk about the water too? He gave a presentation on the water, the results of the water study.
He would like that.
I'm sure you would.
So if we.
Did you get the copy of the water study?
I did, but you
Yeah.
know, I wanted him to digest it, you know.
Yeah, he would if everyone's agreeing to that. I think the workforce housing study, I'm really glad we did it. There's a lot of really good information in there.
There is.
So I would love a presentation on it. It
Sounds good.
was
What's the-
very thorough.
Ray, what's the status on the sewer rate?
Sewer rate, we've been discussing a little bit around the office. We got some feedback from Jeff Smith from Municipal Solutions. We got a good idea how much, I don't know, it's a varying scale of like what we're gonna charge, like I don't wanna say anything now because I don't wanna scare anybody, but
Then we can just move on. if you
no,
want.
I'm just saying what, like you see a difference in your property taxes. And I'm gonna try to make that difference balance out to what if you're gonna be paying in sewer a certain amount, I would like to be able to lower the taxes that much, but I don't know that we can. We're trying to figure through because the wastewater treatment plant is costs a lot of money to operate.
Telling you keeps me up at night. This is why I look tired, because I think about that.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, for instance, what we're looking to potentially bill the town is double what we billed them in past years. And that's after our first year of operation. Once we get a year or maybe, well, we have a year and change under our belt, we'll know where we can cut or save, but it's an expensive plan. It used to be the cheapest entity of any municipality to run was wastewater. Now it's the most expensive. And I think we kept it down kept using the same system for as long as we could, and once you have to modernize, Keith's is well versed in it, probably better than I am. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of manpower. It's a lot of testing, a lot of permitting, a lot of
Yeah, utilities, electricity.
utilities, a lot of power to run those pumps, and our system was deemed to be the best for what we had, our needs.
Yeah.
We're not as fortunate as other communities where like Ticonderoga they can dump into the Chute River.
Right.
Glens Falls can dump into the
Greensburg.
Hudson. We have a basin to protect, and
Well,
it's
lots of
not
money.
just going down the river and not our problems down, the next guy's problem. Our problem is here,
Yeah,
remains
we're
with
kinda
us.
Pigeonholed right in here, and this is where it's gotta be. You know?
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of effort to make that happen.
Like I said, that big meeting we had, I said, understand, our stuff was crazy, because everything's wells, but. He says, I said, well, what about the Hudson? What about Queensbury? They said, oh, but they dilute into the
Go right into the Hudson.
river. I said, oh, so basically the solution to pollution is dilution, right?
Yes.
I said, well, what do you mean?
It's a lovely rhyme.
It is a lovely ride, and the other one I would like to share with everyone is when trying to decide how we're gonna determine EDUs for units and portions of them for motel rooms and hotel rooms and apartments. It's analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Say there is no wrong way to figure this out. Well, there's right ways and wrong ways, but there's no real wrong way to do it. But if you get into the analysis, it'll lead to paralysis.
Right.
Junction,
What's your function? I'll take a motion to adjourn from someone.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, trustee Joe, all those in favor? Aye, so ordered.